Well, hello everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. Leeds United, we're top of the league. Yes, indeed. Leeds venture to the top of the table after a decent win against Millwall side, who were probably one of the worst Millwall sides I've seen, which is quite staggering, really, when you look at their 4 wins. I think it's 3 wins out of 4, isn't it? And a draw in there, as well as a 2-1 win at St Mary's over Southampton. Really, really impressive there. But Leeds in sort of the driving seat from moment one, really there. Really, really sort of impressive in terms of dominance. And yeah, really, really decent overall, really, I thought there. But listen, there was a period of time when Millwall came into it. Of course there was. But overall, Leeds United, well worth the win. Let's go through a few players there. I thought Illan Meslier, there was one offside, but he had to make a really, really impressive save there. It looked like a bit of a showreel save, but it was a lovely little ball in there, and it was called offside. But it was during the second half, around about the half mark of the second half, and a lovely little save from Illan Meslier there, which probably got his confidence up a little bit. Some nice distribution from the back as well. I thought he implemented a bit of a difference there. It wasn't just sort of low to short range passes, it was medium passes, it was long passes as well above a press, which were pretty accurate as well. So shout out to Illan Meslier. I thought he had a really, really good performance. Ampadu and Rodon fairly untroubled. I thought Obafemi, when he came into proceedings, obviously we spoke about Obafemi earlier on in the season potentially being a target for Leeds United. I thought he was strong, athletic, and at some stage in that second half, I thought he was giving them a little bit of trouble, but he was more dropping deep because, listen, Joe Rodon and Ampadu as a partnership, we all know, have been very, very, very impressive. 3 goals conceded by Leeds United in 2024. Just try compute that. The goals against record is superb now, and it has been for the large part of 2024. And it has to be said, in terms of Daniel Farke and what he's managed to do with this Leeds United side in 2024, it's been highly, highly impressive. And I think a lot of people talk about personnel, a lot of people talk about improvements in that respect, but for me, it's been a mentality switch. You know, we're Leeds United, with the dominant force in this division, and that's now illustrated by the league table. Daniel Farke has done it before. We questioned a little bit of his man management on the streams before, but I think overall he's proven me and he's proven others wrong. We never people who sort of agreed with me on that stance didn't ever sort of disregard Daniel Farke, but it was a little bit the Charlie Cresswell thing, the Jed Spence. You did wonder, you know, was he managing these players right? There was a few questions in terms of his rotation of certain players, the substitution times. And he's doing an unbelievable job at this moment in time with an unbelievable squad at his disposal. But that shouldn't be taken away from Farke, because you might have a very good squad at your disposal, but you've got to be able to do the right thing there, put the right people in there. And he's doing that very, very well. Joel Perreault has almost become, well, he's just completely... It feels at this moment in time that it's a little bit here and there between Joseph and Perreault, to be honest with you. There's no real here or there. He's just really been left out, which is so interesting. The reliance on Joel Perreault earlier on in the season was astronomical, really. It felt like £16 million signing. And what he is now is sort of a real rotation option, but sparingly being used as well. Willie Gnonto, I'd just like to say, I thought in that first half he was really, really good. There was a point where Pat Bamford should have laid him off into his path, and he didn't. It went beyond him, and it was poor from Patrick, to be quite honest with you, alliteration aside. But Willie, I thought, was really dangerous in that first half. I thought Cree was very good in that first half as well. Probably his best performance in terms of halves we've seen for probably about a month now. I think he's been off it a little bit for a month. Fatigue, maybe just tiredness mentally might have crept into it. I think the international break's come at a perfect point for Leeds United. I do have to say that. But listen, overall Leeds were really, really good. And we're going to an international break now with a little bit of time to get players like Pascal Strout back to full fitness, hopefully, and mentally just get the squad ready for an 8-game or 7 to 8 game period now, which is just going to be like, you know, F1, you know, Verstappen, Hamilton and co just going and seeing who wins. And that's what it's going to be like, to be honest with you. It's going to be such an enthralling last couple of, well, 6 weeks, really. It's going to be sort of the championship for the ages. And I firmly believe we're going to have promotion sealed off before that Southampton game at the end of the season. But it is still there, and it's still in the balance. That Southampton at the end of the season might be an all-decisive game. So, yeah, I thought, just touching on Chris Somerville and Willie Gnonto, I thought they were really impressive today. As I said, Gnonto was so impressive with that left foot swing. The power he had on it. I was about to get bumped into then, I think. The power he had on it, and the just sheer level of sort of finesse to wrap it round and into the corner, side netting as well, real whip on it, fantastic from Willian. So I thought he was a big threat in that first half. And once again, reverting back to Daniel Farke, what he's been able to do in terms of rotation and getting him back in, fit and firing. And then you get Daniel James coming on that right-hand side again as well, and just been brilliant. You know, when he came on, I didn't know what he was doing for that second goal. He stopped, and then he had a strike. But what I will, and I always say this, I always come, guys know, with like a little bit of constructive criticism. And I will say, I've mentioned it a couple of times that I'd love to see Gruev just whip that ball out wide a couple of times. Like, the option is there. Like, we're always sort of speaking about us not being expansive enough and us being wide, but you actually watch Leeds when you're down at Ellen Road, and you don't see this on the TV because a lot of the time it focuses in on the ball and then just focuses in on the player when they're running with it, but you don't see off the ball. You will see Leeds spread wide quite often, and that ball is always on. You saw it with Roberts and James, you saw it with Archie and Nonto in particular. I just feel Gruev has that ball consistently, and it is on every single time. Where the fullback, it is one-on-one against a Nonto, or if it's on the other side, it's Firpo and Cree Somerville, and that is a bad option. It's a bad day for you if you're one-on-one with this lot, and I think it was great to see Jayden coming back on. Obviously, he's had a few personal issues as well. It's nice to see him back in the fold. Hopefully, he can play a big part towards the end of the season. Connor Roberts isn't playing a massive part at this moment in time. He brought Roberts and Perot and one other on. I apologise, I forgot it was Joseph, wasn't it, who came on towards the back end. And it was quite, I'd like to see them get a few more minutes, but yeah, we managed the game well. It's another clean sheet for Ilan Mele and for Leeds United, which will make Daniel Farke the happiest man on planet Earth. I would have liked to see Leicester go through in the FA Cup, to be honest with you, just because it's another game, it's another bit of focus for Leicester City. Obviously, they've won the FA Cup before as well. It'd have been nice to see them involved in a cup competition towards the end, so maybe that deviates their focus a little bit. But that's not the case. Unless they come back into league form now, and it's probably a little good for them. The focus is now on the league, and they become the hunter, not the hunted. Now, I know Leeds United are on the same amount of points as Leicester City, but now we're above them. So we are now the hunted by three clubs who we know at this moment in time are seriously dangerous, and we're all saying that they're going to eclipse 90 points, all of them. So it is going to be a running and a half, and I'm excited for it, I have to say. And that's really because we've built up a portfolio now, a plethora of just wins, and it comes, you start questioning, well, how can this go wrong? And I know a lot of you guys will be thinking, well, it's going to go wrong. It's Leeds United. It's typical. But it does feel at this moment in time that this just cannot go wrong. It really can't. It's too many wins. It's too many clean sheets. There's too many amazing rotation options. There's too many very, very good players who mentally and physically are absolutely at it at this moment in time. And they've had games like Stoke. They've had games at Sheffield Wednesday, Plymouth recently as well, and obviously today, where you're thinking this could be a stickler, it could be a little bit of a problematic game. And the reason behind that is you get it in every season, don't you? You get it in every season where there is a little bit of an issue, a little bit of points dropped. We've seen it with Leicester, we've seen it with Ipswich, we've seen it with Southampton, but it seems like at this moment in time, Leeds have had that problem bit with sort of Preston and West Bromwich Albion, and then Coventry a couple of weeks beforehand, and then obviously Sunderland in that phase as well, where we had our blip. And it just feels right now, 2024 so far has been just a continuum of wins, a continuum of really good performances, and a continuum of players showing up and delivering for the Whites. So I'm really, really happy with what I've seen today. I'm really, really happy with what I've seen with Leeds United. And yeah, there was a little bit of a problem, I felt, sort of the mid part of the second half, in terms of just us losing a little bit of control and Millwall getting back into it. But overall, when you look at the balance of play, when you go on SofaScore and look at the momentum, you will see that Leeds were dominant in the game, and they were fantastic. Really, really good scenes at Ellen Road today as well. Millwall were quiet. They were good, to be fair. The Millwall fans, they're always good value. I don't have like an undying hatred for them as a lot of Leeds fans do. I love beating them. Of course, I love beating them because it's always a little bit of a tasty game, isn't it? For a few other reasons maybe. But yeah, it was a good day today. Sunny day at Ellen Road. It's great getting down there more and more. I'm seeing a lot of really good people down there as well. Loads of you came up to me today, which was lovely to see as well. And we've now got an international break where we're going to be doing a little bit more fan interaction as well. Leeds top of the league. What does this mean? A lot of Premier League conversation, because I do believe Leeds are going to be involved in the Premier League, which is definitely something that I think we need to discuss on the channel as well. We're going to be discussing the running. We're going to be discussing absolutely everything. Everyone, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in a bit.